Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Colin Ferguson, the Executive Director of the AUA, soon to be the Association of Higher Education Professionals. It's my pleasure to join you again this afternoon to share with you our plans for the next 5 years. Just before we kick off, who guessed the name? Excellent, excellent. So, if any of you were particularly eagle-eyed, we did have a couple of teasers that went out at different points, but I didn't get anybody contact me to say that actually got it right. And we've had people trying to bribe trustees with free drinks to try and get information out of them. I can say the integrity of our trustee board remains intact. So I'm going to just take you through some of the very high level, some of the plans that we're launching from September. Later today, there will be an email that will go out to all members to share with you the strategy itself, and also to let you know how you can hear more and stay in touch, and some FAQ questions as well, just to answer anything that you might be thinking about. So this is your new association, and I've been enrolled for about 1.5 years, and this has been the thing I've been focused on most. How can we make sure that the organisation stays up to date with what the sector needs, and more importantly, what our members need, and make sure that the members' voice comes through in everything that we do. So that's what's informed this approach that we've taken. So why do we need to change? And I think, the theme of this conference is really what it's all about. In an evolving and changing sector, we also need to evolve and change to make sure that we can stay up to date with what you need as members and also what the sector needs. And I think also just the thing to mention is the name has been very controversial, probably for quite some time now. So there's a lot of feedback that people felt the name of the association didn't reflect the breadth of the types of roles and so on that people occupy within higher education. So the new name is purposely broad to encompass those different kind of roles. So really what we're trying to do through this as well is future-proof what we're doing, so that the approach that we're taking is flexible, so that as things come from left field that we don't expect, like COVID, for instance, we can respond to those and turn them into opportunities that we can harness for our members. So just to tell you a little bit about the approach that we took with coming up with the strategy. So there was quite a quite an honest self-reflection on, what does the association do well, and what do we really not do well, and what can we do to improve, and also making sure that we shift the focus with that rather than being about the association and being about the members. So we also went out to the sector, spoke to stakeholders from across the sector about what they felt the role of the association should be in this changing landscape. And then the most important bit for me was the member engagement that we did. So we had over 300 people participate in this in some way or another. And the thing that really, we perhaps did this the wrong way around. So we did this bit last, and it was actually very reassuring because it helped to reaffirm some of the things some of the assumptions that were already made about the things that we would need to change and improve on in the future. So the upshot of all this is 3 strands to our new strategy. So identity, purpose, and engagement, fit for the future products, and strategic sector partnerships. So that's the 3 overarching drivers that will take us forward over the next 5 years. So what we wanted to do was create a modern and bold brand that people could be proud of and really be happy to say, I'm a member of AHEP. And through what we do, it reflects who we are as a higher education professional community today. And really the second one is something I feel very passionately about, not pussyfooting around who we're for and what we do and proudly declaring that to the sector and beyond. And the thing that drove this was really being clear about who we are, what we do, and what drives us forward. So all of that, the purpose, our vision, is clearly articulated through our mission as well. So really what we're about is empowering, connecting, and developing higher education professionals. So not doing it for you and not leaving you on your own to do it, but doing it with you and helping to provide the tools and the resources that you need and the networks that you need in order to succeed, move forward, and have an impact within the sector. And for me, this was this whole exercise. It wasn't about let's get a new logo or some new colours. I really wanted the purpose of this to be around who are we going to be and how are we going to interact. And I see this as a tick list test, I suppose. So in a year's time, when you're back at conference, I want you to be able to walk away and say that all of these things are true in terms of the experience that you've had from your association. So if you can answer yes to all of these 3 things, then AHEP is for you, and we want you to feel part of the association and make the most of everything that it has to offer. So it's not limited to this, but these are the kinds of areas that some of our members come from. But also, one thing I think is really important to mention is our members don't just come from universities. They come from FE colleges delivering higher education programs. They come from other associations and other settings across the sector. Yesterday, I was having a conversation with someone from a students' union. So all of those people make up this vibrant community that we have here today. So we want the way we communicate to be simple. So I think we sometimes overcomplicate things that we don't need to do, approachable, strong, and contemporary, so that we can just give you what you need in the most straightforward, easy way, and we do it in as an engaging way as possible. So one of the things that has come out of this is a new website, which will go live in September. So if you look at our current website later today, tomorrow, you'll see a countdown clock on there until the release of the new website. And we've tried to make a user experience that's very simple, straightforward, gives you the information that you need in a very easy and accessible way. So the second area is fit for the future products, and this is made up of 3 main components. So the first is the membership offer, then professional development, and a not-for-profit consulting service. So all of these are things that we do in some form or other at the moment, but what we've done is really look at how can we do them better and what can we offer to give our members the best value possible. So we've worked with a best practice organisation called MemberWise, who support membership organisations right across the country. And we've done that to come up with a transparent membership structure where you can clearly see what you need to do in order to be at each level, what value and return you will get for being at that level, and also what you need to do in order to progress to the next level, making it as simple as possible and removing some of the bureaucracy that's there. And really what we want to do through that is create a home for higher education professionals where you can see people like you, connect with people who have the same drivers and motivations as you. So these are the membership structures that we have. So member, accredited member, fellow will still exist. We're also introducing a taster level, just to give people a sneak peek of what they could get from the association, and also an associate level, which will come before member. What we're doing with that as well is just trying to give people the choice to opt for whichever membership level they feel is right for their circumstances and where they are, and the flexibility to move through those as well. So in September, you'll see the full list of benefits that you'll get. And what you'll see on the website is a comparison grid of what you will get at each level and what you don't get at certain levels. But really what it will lead to is a sense of belonging, recognition, networking, solutions to some of the challenges that you'll face within your work environment, and skills development that will be more closely matched to where you are in your professional journey, and also exclusive offers that we're adding to benefit our members specifically. So the next area is professional development. So one of the main outcomes of this is a professional framework. So some of you will have known of the CPD framework, which I think has given a lot of value and a lot of support to the sector, but it was in need of a refresh. So that's what we've done over the past little while. And also thinking about the comprehensive support that we can offer, and really thinking purposely about how we deliver stuff. So for instance, if you're doing something online, we will make sure that it is an experience that is designed to be delivered and experienced online, not something that you would normally turn up in person and we just do it on a computer screen instead. So really being very purposeful and thinking about the member experience as we do those things. So the new framework that we have, it will map revised behavioural components, taking into account what we have in the existing framework and building on that as well. And what you should be able to do through that is to see if you're at a particular level of membership, what support is there to help you get to the next place that you want to go in your career. If you don't want to move on, you want to stay at the level you're at, that's absolutely fine, but there will be development in there as well to support you to improve and get better at what it is you currently do. So this is what the framework will look like. And you can see the membership levels are at the heart of it there. All you see on the screen at the minute is an image, but when this is on the website, you'll be able to click on these and there will be a whole host of stuff that sits behind it, showing you how you can get the support that you need and how it connects to other things that the association does as well. In order to come up with this, we had a number of working groups with representatives from institutions right across the sector, taking into account the approaches that different organisations are taking to their staff development, and also thinking about how we can build on what existed through the CPD framework as well. So consulting, what we're looking at this is a not-for-profit consulting offer. You might be wondering, why does the AUA, a membership organisation, do consulting? And it's quite simply because part of our original founding principles was to improve the advancement of, to deliver on the advancement of higher education. We've got some very skilled and very talented people within our network, and what we do through this is facilitate a way for those people to contribute to the improvement of the sector. And everybody who works as a consultant within our consulting offer is a member as well. So it's a great opportunity for members to be able to develop their skills, experience, and give back to the sector in a different way as well. I think one of the things that's really important with this is, because the people who are involved in consulting are from the sector and giving their advice, their expertise to the sector, they're not going to run off back to a different project or whatever. They're invested in making sure that what they do sticks and actually helps to improve the organisation that they're involved with. So it helps to enhance the overall AHEP offer. And it also, we've put income diversification in there, and really why I've kept that in there for to share with the members is because what we do through that income that we get from it is invested into opportunities and things that we can provide for our members to, again, advance your professional development as well. So this is the bit that I'm most excited about, is the strategic sector partnership. So we're going to look at this in two ways. One is collaborating with other HE associations. We've had a number of exploratory conversations with some of the kinds of other associations, organizations that you would all know of and expect, and then also devising an institutional partnership model, again, to support members and support the sector. So through the institutional partnership, we'll have a senior sponsor who will support the implementation of the partnership in each institution to support the professional services community within that institution to access everything that AHEP has to offer. From an institutional perspective, it allows them to publicly demonstrate their commitment to developing their professional services community and building a career path through the institution that we can support them with. So these are the kinds of things that the institutions could access as part of the offer. So it might be discounted membership for all of the people who work within that particular institution, several free places at conference, access to consulting, and so on. So what we've done is create a menu so that when I sit down and have a conversation with the institutions, we can put together a package that suits the specific strategic ambitions of that institution. And then the conversations that we're having at the minute around our external partnerships, really this was driven by a sense that there's a lot of people doing stuff in the sector, but there's not a whole lot of stuff happening together. And really, I think that's a missed opportunity. So what we want to do is strengthen the voice of the professional services community by speaking on topics that matter to all of our different associations and creating mutual benefit for all of the members within those different institutions. So in terms of what will happen next, you're getting a sneak peek of what we're doing. So between now and September, we'll finish finalising the products. We'll launch everything in September, and we'll make sure that we write out to members about what it means for your current membership, for your membership in the future, and so on. And I think one of the things that's been really important to me has been that member voice in what we're doing. That will become a more regular and a more prominent feature in what we're doing to make sure that as we evolve over the coming years, then our members' needs, interests, and are very much at the heart of what we do. So just to bring it to life a little bit more and to give me a break from talking, I'm going to invite to the stage Vicky Goddard, our chair, Thea Gibbs, our trustee and incoming chair, Ruth Coomber, one of our trustees, and Sonny Salmon, our membership and marketing manager. Would you please join me? Great, thank you very much for joining us. So, Vicky, we'll kick off with you as the current chair of the AUA, soon to be AHEP.
AHEP.
So, tell us, why does the AUA need to change?
So I think really just building on what Colin's been saying in there, we know we work in a rapidly changing and evolving sector. I've worked in this sector for more years than I care to think of, and I've been a member of AUA throughout that time. And what I've seen is just this evolution over that period of time in the terms of the jobs that we do, who we're involving with AUA and the kinds of things we do. So what we're doing is reflecting that through in terms of the offer that we have, what we do, so that we remain fit for purpose. You know, it was really interesting when Stuart Croft said, I hate administrative work, and there was this ripple, everyone went, and I was thinking, yes, that's great. Because, you know, although you know, the commitment and the passion that people have for what the association does, and I've heard nothing but really committed and, you know, and passionate people about it over the last 3 days, which has been absolutely brilliant. There are a lot of people who are thinking, is this for me? I'm not an administrator, you know, I don't do this, I'm not sure it's, and as we're saying, we want to be that opportunity for people across the professional services community to feel that this is a place for them. This is somewhere where you can be supported, you can be enabled to be of your best, to support your professional development and support your networks and your development in the sector. So that's really why we've said, right, let's have a proper look at this and come forward with what I think, well, I would, wouldn't I, are really exciting plans for the future.
Great. And I suppose, Vicky, knowing what you know about the plans and being involved in the development, what are you most excited about?
I think, for me, I think we've got a much clearer and more joined up way of looking at what we're providing for our members. So the new professional development framework and the products that we're developing there are really designed to enable people to see, to either dip in if they want to and to do different things, or to provide a much clearer pathway to enable people to support what they want to do as they develop their own careers. And think about some of those things, you know, just very struck by what Ken was saying about thinking about that breadth of what you do, and that's one of the things that we're trying to offer. So it creates a helpful way in for people to think about perhaps getting some of that breadth and developing their own career.
Great, thank you very much, Vicky. So Ruth, if I can come to you next. So you've been involved in this trustee working group for a while now, and one of the things that's been very helpful for me is because all of our trustees are practitioners from the sector, so to make sure that what we're doing is something that will ensuring that what we're doing will actually benefit members in reality. So Ruth, from what you've been involved with, will it still feel like the AUA?
It will feel like the AUA, but it'll feel better that we're building on those foundations which are already there. It's funny coming to the conference over the last few days. It's amazing how you see people, and you know those people from the different networks, whether it's the PG Cert, different, you know, through a conference, and you build that UK network, and that brings it all together when you come to something like this. And the AUA has given me so many opportunities, given me confidence for my own professional development, and massive opportunities, including being now a trustee. And as you've just explained, I think it's now clarifying and, you know, giving people that roadmap of how to engage with the AUA a little bit in a very clear way, and it's really exciting. And we've heard over the last few days about reinventing ourselves personally and pushing ourselves to reinvent ourselves. And I think the AUA needed to reinvent themselves and be bolder and be more confident and represent the members. And I'm really proud that it has been a long 8-9 months. Lots of discussions, but the important bit was engaging with the membership. We are here to be, you know, to represent the membership and be that voice on the as trustees. And hopefully people are excited around the new products and the start of this new journey of AHEP.
Great, thank you very much, Ruth. Thea, just to come to you on that, I suppose what would you say are the things that people should still see in the new phase that we're going into that they perhaps love and treasure about the AUA as it is?
I mean, I think we've probably all benefited from all of these things during the conference that we're all here for. It's those connections beyond your own individual institution. Those will remain. The networks are really important. They will remain and grow. And it's really about amplifying the voice that we have individually to then be a greater collective across the sector to represent professional services as a real career of choice. That isn't, yes, we might still just fall into university administration or higher education professional careers, but that doesn't mean that once you've arrived that it's not then seen as a good, legitimate career choice, that particularly our early career colleagues will see that this is something they could really build their future in and have a really fulfilling and rewarding career.
Great, thank you very much, Thea. Sonny, I'm going to come to you now. So Sonny's a relatively new member of the team. He's our membership and marketing manager, and really one of the things that Sonny focuses on is how can we raise the profile of our members and make sure that the great work that goes on within our community is being shouted about. So Sonny, thinking about our members specifically, just tell us a little bit about what's happening with the membership offer.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, the existing membership offer, the existing levels of member, accredited member and fellow will remain in the new structure. But intro to AHEP and associate are new levels being introduced. What I want to assure members of is that transfer of your current level will happen automatically. There's no need to take any action. you'll just seamlessly move across into the new structure. But what we definitely want to ensure as well is all the hard work, the achievements, the recognition, the benefits, all those things will remain, and members will still have access to all of that.
Great. And so some of you might be wondering about what's happening with the fees. And one of the things that we've been quite mindful of is we're in a cost of living crisis. One of the things that we've done to respond to that this year was to freeze the membership fees, and that consciousness, I suppose, of the climate that we're in is something we've taken forward in figuring out the new structures. So just tell us a little bit, Sonny, about how the fees will be affected.
Yeah, so we received quite a lot of feedback that the current pricing system is based upon what individuals earn. I feel like a lot of members felt like that wasn't fair. So yeah, we took note of that, and in response to it, like going forward, the pricing will be based on value and entitlements that members receive from the association. I mentioned a little bit earlier as well about the sort of new levels. So members will be free to move down levels if they so choose, if that suits their circumstances.
Great, thank you. And then just tell us a bit about the benefits that we can expect.
So yeah, when you check out the new structure, each level represents a really clear and robust proposition, accompanied by transparent pricing, and individuals will clearly be able to see what you're getting for your membership fees. Understand totally the importance of resources, the value of that as well, and I want to make it clear as well that members will definitely still have complete access to that. It won't diminish at all. In fact, as we move to the new structure, members can look forward to additional benefits, enhanced offerings, and it's just overall like a really enriched membership experience. And yeah, full details will be available in September.
Great. And I think one of the things to add to that is that those benefits will be added to over the next few years as well. So what we announce in September isn't going to be static. It's going to be something that we develop and evolve over the coming years as well. So Ruth, I'm going to come back to you. So we had a sneak peek at the professional framework. So you've had experience of using the CPD framework as well in its current guise, and we built on that CPD framework through the development of this professional framework. Just tell us a little bit about why we need a new framework, and and I think one of the questions people might be thinking is what's wrong with the current CPD framework?
There's a lot right with the CPD framework based around the behaviours and values, which is another foundation of the AUA and has helped me, well, as part of the PG Cert as well, it's built on that. But I know that people find that difficult to incorporate some of them, you've got the behaviours, the values of the values, you've got the behaviours, and then incorporating that. So I mean, I think when you see the new framework, it is more fit for the future. You've got, including digital resources, and to make people have the support your development needs for the future as well.
Great, thank you. And can you tell us a little bit about what it means for people who currently use the CPD framework?
Sorry, what it means?
For those who currently use the CPD framework now that we've got a new one. Vicky, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I think what we're thinking is obviously, there are institutions that have embedded that and are working through that and link it through to their own things. So I think what we're saying is we won't be supporting that in that same way, but because this is an evolution, we'll be thinking about how we work with those institutions to enable that new framework to be more embedded in what we're doing, whilst hopefully at the same time we're able to develop a broader conversation around the professional framework in the context of what we're doing more broadly as an organisation, because we've got things more clearly linked together in terms of that overall benefits package. And I think one thing we haven't really talked about is some of the institutional partnerships we're talking about, and I think that's another really important area where one of the things that came back to us very clearly, and those of you that are as old as I am, and there's probably not many of you that are, it was really clear that as things have evolved, and particularly senior leaders have got kind of more of their own their own organisations, that's taken away some of that senior advocacy for AUA and what we do. So what we've done is talked a lot to COOs, registrars, academic secretaries, academic registrars, these sorts of people, about how we can all work together, because they very clearly see the benefit of what we're doing and how we're evolving to be able to support people throughout their structures but it's not quite in the same way. So the institutional partnership really builds on that to enable us to get that senior level to support in institutions, but embed what we're doing within a broader professional development offer for colleagues across professional services in institutions.
Thank you.
And more broadly.
Yeah, thank you, Vic. And just on the institutional partnership, so from your experience of being in a leadership position within universities, what do you think it offers to an institution, and then also for the professional services practitioners within the institution?
So one of the things that I think will resonate with a lot of people is the challenge that many institutions and broader organisations in the sector are having with attracting and then retaining people into the profession. And that's partly about no one grows up wanting to be a university professional services person, administrator. But there's something from a leadership perspective very attractive about what we can do to enable that build and that offer to bring people into to the profession and to the career structure, and to support their development and to support that networking and professional push, to enable people to come, to stay, to see where that career might be. That's very, very attractive to senior leaders when you see that, given some of the challenges that well, it's not just senior leaders, is it? Many of us are having with bringing people in. And of course, the flip side of that for those people coming in is it gives people a clearer career path, but also shows that there's that recognition from senior leadership that this is giving an added extra as part of the investment in them as professionals.
Great, thank you, Vicky. So, Thea, we're going to come to you now, and you're the incoming chair of the Association of Higher Education Professionals, which means that she's going to be my boss very soon as well. So, in 5 years' time, so this is a 5-year strategy that we've worked on, what do you think the changes will mean for members, and what do you think people will see, feel, and do differently as a consequence of this?
Yeah, so I think all of the products and services and engagement that we're planning to deliver and to work with our peers across the institutions that we work in will deliver greater visibility for professional services colleagues. I think over the next 2 to 3 years, I would like to see engagement across the sector increase so that we have more members in more diverse institutions that are really bringing new voices and new perspectives into the profession. And that in, say, 5 years' time, when this strategy is really reaping its rewards, what I'd like to think is that our employers, our institutions, and our peers, our academic peers as well, have a greater sense that professional services is a career of choice, that it's being a member of AHEP will be an indicator of professional behaviours and expectations, that if somebody is a member or accredited member, that means that you can expect a certain level of professional behaviours and leadership that would come from that, and that membership of AHEP or AHEP itself is shorthand for that best practice and high professional standards within the sector.
Great, thank you. And just tell us, so along the same theme. So we don't just exist in England. We've got international delegates here and so on. So tell us primarily what it would mean for people in Scotland, people in Wales, people in Northern Ireland, and Ireland as a whole.
I think we've talked about diversity within the sector, and that's in terms of institutional types, but it's also regional diversities. And we know that there are regions within the country that are better served or less well served by higher education institutions in themselves, where there's higher education cold spots in the UK. And we might be able to partner with institutions in helping to address the skills shortages that will be existing in some of those areas. I think the work that is already in place around the networks, I would like to see increase. We've all benefited from coming back together again after a period where we worked remotely. There was a sense that if we're now all working remotely and we're all connecting on Teams, do we need to have regional networks anymore? And I think thematic networks are really important, but it's really important as well that we use our connections and our networks within our membership groupings generally to create those connections that happen locally to where you are as well, and that there's nothing to stop individual groups of members creating their own networks and their ways of connecting that work in that particular environment, depending on how they want to deliver, what the local geography is about, and the drive and the leadership support from the institutions that they're in. So I think very, very inclusive, and I think I would like to see membership increase across the UK regions, but I also ultimately be really nice if we had a membership that was more international, that more broadly reflected our lived experiences in universities, which are really international. Our colleagues are really international. It'd be really nice if this room was fully international as well.
Yeah.
I think the opportunity of having that, of using the more digital and virtual ways of connecting really play to that and help us have, as you say, those local connections, but also more international, and things like the study tours and the opportunities to go to international conferences and things will still be offering, and they will still be there. And I know everyone that's been on a study tour ever has brought back, you know, amazing additional value because of what they've learnt on that. So I think through the combination of new things we're offering and building on what we've already got, which is absolutely what we're trying to do here in terms of the evolution of the association, and enable people to think about those connectivities in different ways will really help.
Great, thank you very much. So I think that's all we've got time for today. Like I said, keep an eye out for the full details that are coming out over the next day or two, and also, you know, encourage you to you know, keep engaged as we roll things out in September, so that you can see the full detail of what we have in store for you. I just ask you, Vicky, were you going to?
I was just going to say, I mean, any feedback, we really want to hear what you've got to say about this, you know, good, bad, hopefully good, that it'd be really good to get people's feedback and just see how this feels for you.
Yeah. So the FAQ document which we'll share, they will be updated on a weekly basis. There's information there about how to send in a question if there's anything that isn't covered. And as Vicky said, we'll make sure that we respond to that promptly as well. I would like just to ask you to put your hands together and thank the Trustee Strategy Group for making sure your voice is heard. We've had some very passionate conversations to make sure that what we're getting hits the mark. So thank you very much for that.
And I'll just say, Colin is saying thanks to us, but Colin has absolutely driven and steered this forward with the team. He and the team have been absolutely incredible in driving this forward, pulling it together, thinking about it in the whole. So thank you.
And just to follow up on that, I love the higher education sector. I've worked with the higher education sector for about 12 years or so. I left school with very few qualifications, went back as an adult, and it was my experience of higher education that shaped me and gave me the opportunities that I have. And one of the things I firmly believe is that, you know, you can have all the academics in the world, but universities, higher education doesn't function without talented, skilled, professional services practitioners like the people sitting here today, and that's why I'm really committed to helping to bolster that community and make the best of the opportunities that we have. So it's now my duty to close conference. So we've come to the end of AUA 23. It will be the last AUA conference, but you can look forward next year to the first AHEP conference, which is taking place here at Warwick again, but at a different time of year. So it'll start on the 24th of March until Tuesday, the 26th of March. We're going to send out some information to you and also an opportunity to get some feedback from you. Last year, I said to the team, I really want us to up the game with conference, and hopefully what you've experienced over the past 2 days has delivered on that in some way. I would ask you to put your hands together for the staff team who have worked hard to put on this experience for you. Thank you. And thank you also to everybody who came along to speak, our exhibitors, sponsors who helped make the experience what it was over the past 2 days. I hope you have a safe journey home. I look forward to connecting with you in the months to come. If anybody wants to have a conversation about their own institution and so on, please absolutely do feel free to reach out. So take care, keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully see you back here in March next year. Thank you.